Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Monday, January 19th, 2026. Today we're going to recap the NFL divisional round results from the weekend, college basketball, NBA, NHL, soccer. We'll preview and pick the college football playoff national championship game, Sony Open. We'll recap that due on this day from Saturday, Sunday, and today, and then news and notes and best bets. So busy show today. NFL is where we'll begin. Divisional round. Two awesome games. And then two not so awesome games. Broncos over the Bills 33-30 in overtime on a game-ending field goal by Will Lutz. Unfortunately for the Broncos in this game, they lose their quarterback, Bo Nix, to an ankle fracture, so he's going to be out for the remainder of the playoffs, which is a big loss for the Broncos, and then yet another heartbreaking defeat for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills in the postseason as Denver advances to the AFC Championship game as they'll host it. Seahawks over the 49ers 41-6. Unfortunately for the Niners, the injuries came back to bite them. Sam Darnold gets the job done as well as that defense. This was done from the get-go because Rashid Shaheed 95-yard kickoff for a touchdown. You don't see that very often in the playoffs. Niners had two drives in this whole game, and they both ended up in field goals, and then they were just shut out in the second half. And then Sunday, Patriots over the Texans 28-16. The loss of Nico Collins proved to be huge for Houston. And then they lose Dalton Schultz in this game to injury, as well as Drake May and the Patriots get it done. And the other MVP candidate, Matthew Stafford, he and the Rams get it done 20-17 in overtime over the Chicago Bears, who had one last hurrah moment as Caleb Williams on fourth and game pretty much. Cole Kmet 14 yards. They tie it up. I mean, there's talk they should have went for two. Come on, this is the playoffs. Don't go for two in the playoffs. The regular season, you go for two. In the playoffs, you don't go for two. That'd be crazy. And then Harrison Mephis hits the 42-yard field goal for the win for the Rams, as they will face the Seattle Seahawks for a third time this season, and a second time, obviously, in Seattle. And then Broncos and Patriots did not meet this year. So, you have your top two seeds in the AFC, and in the NFC, you have the 5 against the 1. So it's going to be a fun Final Four for sure. And then we'll talk about the matchups and stuff as it's close there. Okay, now we'll move on to college basketball. That was a busy weekend. We'll go over the results, and then we'll look ahead to today. It's a big day in college basketball because it's Martin Luther King Day. And usually the day of the Natty is not busy, but circumstances this year changed because of Martin Luther King Day. Friday was a small window. Providence over Creighton 93-88. Kent State over Toledo 87-84. Kansas upsets Baylor, or not really upsets Baylor. They upset Iowa State the other day, but they beat Baylor 82-62. Dayton over Loyola Chicago 78-51. DePaul over Marquette 80-75. Ball State over Ohio 76-71. And Boise State over Colorado State 79-73. I lost best bet by a half point from Friday. All right, Saturday, number 3, UConn over Georgetown, 64-62. Number 13, Illinois over Minnesota, 77-67. Number 16, Virginia over SMU, 72-68. Kentucky over number 24, Tennessee, 80-78. Butler over number 25, Seton Hall, 77-66. Fox Tech over Notre Dame, 89-76. Georgia Tech over NC State, 78-74. Mount St. Mary's over Canisius, 78-68. Elon over Hofstra, 89-85. Duquesne over Fordham, 74-63. Number 18, Alabama over Oklahoma, 83-81. Ohio State over UCLA, 86-74. Lafayette over Holy Cross, 74-55. Loyola Maryland over BU, 74-57. Bowling Green over Eastern Michigan, 85-79. Miami of Ohio over Buffalo, 105-102 in OT. New Haven over Wagner, 80-74. Chattanooga over Western Carolina, 90-82. Old Dominion over App State, 75-73. Cincinnati upsets number 2 Iowa State, 79-70. Number 19 Florida over number 10 Vandy, 98-94. Illinois State over Bradley, 88-62. Colgate over Bucknell, 95-76. Utah over TCU, 82-79. Wisconsin over Rutgers, 96-87. Iowa over Indiana, 74-57. Winthrop over UNC Asheville, 69-67. Presbyterian over Gardner-Webb, 92-55. St. Peter's over Rider, 69-58. BC over Syracuse, 81-73 in OT. Navy over Lehigh, 82-79 in double OT. Brown over Columbia, 86-80 in OT. North Dakota State over South Dakota, 68-65. North Dakota over South Dakota, 96-80. Yale over Cornell, 102-68. Cleveland State over Youngstown State, 80-78. Detroit Mercy over IU Indy, 80-77. Akron over Western Michigan, 104-89. Marist over Fairfield, 82-67. Stanton over Manhattan, 74-59. Harvard over Princeton, 87-80. Stonehill over Mercer, 62-57. Central Con over St. Francis, 98-90. Lemoyne over Chicago State, 72-57. ETSU over Stanford, 76-75. Florida Gulf Coast over West Georgia, 90-72. Queens over Stetson, 87-81. Central Arkansas over North Florida, 98-69. Sam Houston over FIA, 76-63. New Mexico State over Delaware, 97-68. Number 22, Clemson over Miami, 69-59. Grand Canyon over number 23, Utah State, 84-74. LaSalle over St. Bonnie, 78-74. Radford over Longwood, 85-83. Valpo over Northern Iowa, 54-44. UIC over Drake, 74-67. Merrimack over Quinnipiac, 83-71. Northern Illinois over UMass, 70-68. Penn over Dartmouth, 84-74. Coastal over Georgia Southern, 79-75 OT. Jacksonville over North Alabama, 90-68. Kennesaw State over Western Kentucky, 81-65. Liberty over UTEP, 80-69. Georgia State over Rio Monroe, 77-57. LSU over Missouri, 78-70. Number 1, Zona over UCF, 84-77. Number 4, Michigan over Oregon, 81-71. Number 8, Nebraska over Northwestern, 77-58. Cal over number 14, UNC, 84-78. Number 21, Georgia over number 17, Arkansas, 96-76. Murray State over Indiana State, 85-81. Texas Southern over Alcorn State, 72-71. St. Louis over Richmond, 88-63. Jackson State over Prairie View, 82-78. Nevada over Air Force, 81-66. Stony Brook over Charleston, 112-106 in double OT. Mercer over UNC Greensboro, 102-92. UC San Diego over Bakersfield, 83-62. Lamar over Nichols, 90-80. Louisiana over South Alabama, 59-56. Marshall over JMU, 77-72. Moreland State over Tennessee Tech, 76-70. Little Rock over Western Illinois, 86-79. Utah Valley over Texas Arlington, 86-74. Howard over NC Central, 83-69. Norfolk State over SC State, 89-82. Morgan State over Delaware State, 80-79. Maryland East over Coppin State, 70-67. A&M Corpus Christi over Southeast Louisiana, 68-56. Eastern Christian over East Texas A&M, 81-70. Troy over Arkansas State, 99-74. Texas State over Southern Miss, 74-67. Tennessee State over Southern Indiana, 73-67. Tennessee Martin over Lindenwood, 69-55. SU Edwards over Missouri, 68-55. UNLV over San Jose State, 76-62. Southern over Grambling, 71-53. Wofford over Furman, 74-70. UC Davis over UC Irvine, 75-72. Incarnate over Northwestern State, 76-74. Portland State over Northern Arizona, 63-52. Jackson State over Louisiana Tech, 64-60. South Dakota State over KC, 90-62. Texas Rio Grande over McNeese, 79-76. Number 5, Purdue over USC, 69-64. Number 6, Duke over Stanford, 80-50. Number 12, Michigan State over Washington, 80-63. Pacific over Oregon State, 81-64. West Virginia over Colorado, 72-61. Wake over Florida State, 69-68. Stephen F. Boston over New Orleans, 84-79. Eastern Washington over Idaho State, 84-66. A&M over Texas, 74-70. Auburn over South Carolina, 71-67. MTSU over Missouri State, 90-87 in double OT. Florida A&M over Arkansas Pine Bluff, 71-67. Bethune over Miss Valley State, 79-63. Belmont over Southern Illinois, 73-68. Santa Clara over St. Mary, 62-54. Fresno over Wyoming, 63-60. High Point over SC Upstate, 89-69. Robert Morris over North Kentucky, 90-69 OT. Or 92-89 OT. That didn't make sense. That was weird. LA over FDU, 66-59. Wilmington over Campbell, 78-65. Citadel over VMI, 82-68. Eastern Kentucky over Bellarmine, 89-69. Lipscomb over Austin P, 82-78. Number 15, Texas Tech over number 11, BYU, 84-71. Number 20, Louisville over Pitt, 159. San Diego State over New Mexico, 83-79. LBSU over Northridge, 87-80. Riverside over Fullerton, 81-72. St. John's over Villanova, 86-79. Omaha over Oral Roberts, 73-62. Ole Miss over Mississippi State, 68-67. Southern Utah over Abilene Christian, 74-52. Portland over LMU, 71-58. Santa Barbara over Hawaii, 77-62. Montana State over Montana, 76-67. Idaho over Weber State, 75-67. Utah Tech over Tarleton State, 75-71. Number 9, Gonzaga over Seattle, 71-50. Oklahoma State over Kansas State, 84-83. and Sac State over Northern Colorado 93-9 OT. Sunday, FA over Temple 79-73. Maryland over Penn State 96-73. American over Army 78-67. Wichita State over Florida or South Florida 86-85 in OT. Charlotte over ECU 73-70. Oakland over Green Bay 88-63. Milwaukee loses to Purdue Fort Wayne 182. Tulsa over UAB 99-77. North Texas over Tulane 71-63. Memphis over UTSA 95-69. Number 7 Houston over Arizona State 103-73. And San Fran over Washington State 85-80. I thought there was more games yesterday. I guess not. All right, 11 a.m. CBS Sports Network Northeastern Monmouth. My line's Monmouth 3.3 is 3.5, 146.5 over. 12 o'clock Stonehill St. Francis. There's a lot of matinee because of the holiday today, so that's why I wanted to get this recorded early. My line's Stonehill 1.5, and it is 1.5, 141.5. I'll go over. ESPN U 1 o'clock Vermont Albany. I have Vermont 5.3, 5.5, 142.5. I'll go over. Drexel Towson CBS Sports Network. I have Towson 11, and it is 5.5, 125.5. I'll lay the 5.5 with Towson. Iona St. Peter's. I have St. Peter's 5.7, and it is 3.5 and 44.5. I will lay 3.5 with St. Peter's. Sacred Heart Rider. I have Sacred Heart 2.3, and it is 3.5, 141.5. I'll go over. So 3 Jersey teams I see on the board right now. Cornell Brown. I have Brown 2.3. And it is Cornell 1.5, total 163.5. I'll take Brown plus 1.5 and plus 104 to win. Columbia Yale. I have Yale by 10. And it's 8.5, 154.5. I'll go over. Fairfield Siena. I have Siena 9.7. And it's 6.5, 142.5. I'll lay it. Mount St. Mary's Niagara. I have Niagara 0.7. And it is 2.5 and 132.5. I'll take Niagara plus 2.5 and plus 128 to win. Merrimack Marist. I have Marist 7.7. And it is 7.5 and 135.5. I'll go over. Manhattan Quinnipiac. I have Quinnipiac 8.8. It's a lot of 2 o'clock games. 12.5, 154.5. I'll take Manhattan to cover. Central Con Mercyhurst. I have Central Con 0.2, and it's Mercyhurst 1.5, total 134.5. I'll take Central Con plus 1.5. And wait, is that the right pick? Kinda. I would take Central Con on the money line, but the podcast picks would be the over. Penn Harvard. My line is Harvard 7.7, 4.5, 148.5. I'll lay it with Harvard. Wagner, Fairleigh Dickinson. That's the 4th Jersey team on the board today. And they're all home, too, which is crazy. My line's Dickinson 3.2. It's Wagner 1.5, total 140.5. I'll take Fairleigh Dickinson plus 1.5 and even money on the money line. New Hampshire, Maine. My line is Maine 4.8. And it is 1.5 and 128.5. I'll lay it with Maine. UMBC Binghamton. My line is Binghamton 4.8 underdog. It's 5.5, 141.5. I'll go over. Another Jersey home team. Bryant NJIT. That's 5. My line is NJIT 0.8. And it's 3.5, 132.5. I'll take Bryant plus 3.5 in that one. St. Joe's VCU. 3 o'clock CBS Sports Network. I have VCU by 5. It's 15.5 and 152.5. That's way too high. Give me St. Joe's plus 15.5. I think VCU's favored by that much based on reputation in that conference. Prairie View, Alcorn State. My line's Prairie View 2.3. It's 2.5, 154.5. I'll take the over. LIU, Lemoyne. I have LIU by 7. It's 1.5, 147.5. I'm laying 1.5 for the LIU. That is low. MLK Day Classic, 4 o'clock, Morehouse. I thought it said Morehead State, but Morehouse Howard, we can skip that. That's a non-Division 1. McNeese A&M Corpus Christi. My line's McNeese 12.7. It's 7F 141. If I'll lay the points with McNeese, that's low. George Washington, George Mason. This is a good one. CBS Sports Network, 5 o'clock. I have George Mason 3.7. It's 2.5, 153.5. I'll take the over. Bama State hosting Bama A&M. I have State as a 1-point dog. And they're 1.5 point favorite, total 147.5. I'll take Bama A&M plus 1.5 and minus 105 to win. All right, 6 Jersey team playing today. This one's a road one. My line's Dartmouth 6.5 over Princeton. That's a 6 o'clock game. And it's 1.5, 145.5. I'll lay the 1.5 with Dartmouth. Fox Sports 1, Providence, Marquette. I have Providence 1.7. And it's Marquette 1.5 total 165. And if Marquette stinks this year, give me Providence plus 1.5 and minus 104 to win. East Texas A&M Incarnate Word. I have Incarnate Word by 12. And it's 8.5, 141.5. I'll lay the points. 6:30 Bethune, Arkansas, Pine Bluff. My line is Bethune 4.3. 2.5, 154.5. I'll go over. New Haven, Chicago State, 7 o'clock. My line is New Haven 1.3. It's Chicago State 1.5 total 128.5. I'll take New Haven plus 1.5 and plus 112 to win. CBS Sports Network, Loyola, Maryland, Lehigh. My line is Lehigh 1.8. 5.5, 148.5. I'll take Loyola getting the points. 7:30 at Southeast Louisiana, Texas, Rio Grande. I have Rio Grande 6.3. It's 5.5, 135.5. I'll go over. Stephen F. Austin, Nichols. My line is Stephen F. Austin 7.5. And it's only 1.5. So it's 123.5. I'll lay. Oh my God, I'm laying the points with Stephen F. Austin. Florida A&M, Mrs. Valley State at 8. My line's Florida A&M by 8.7. 12.5, 103.5. I'll take Miss Valley to cover. Texas Southern, Jackson State. I have Jackson State by 6. And it's 3.5, 156.5. I'll lay with Jackson State. Northwestern State against Houston Christian. My line is Houston Christian 3.7. It's 2.5 and 139.5. I will take the over. Lamar, New Orleans. My line's New Orleans as a 3-point dog. And they're a 3.5 point favorite. Total's 146.5. I'll take Lamar plus 3.5 and plus 146 to win the game straight up. I'm shocked that Lamar's not favored. That's surprising to me. Montana State, Northern Colorado. My line's Northern 1.8. It's 2.5, 154.5. I'll go over. Montana, Northern Arizona. My line is Montana 8.3. It's 4.5, 143.5. I'll lay with Montana. And last but not least, 9 o'clock, CBS Sports Network, NCNT in Hampton. Excuse me. My line's Hampton 13. And it's 5.5 and 142.5. I'll lay the points with Hampton. NCAT is really bad. Okay, now move on to the NBA. We'll go over the results from the weekend, and we will look ahead to today for MLK Day. Again, I did not do totals. I promise you, we will get there at some point. We've just been busy on this show. Friday, Pacers over the Pelicans, 127-119. Cavs over the Sixers, 117-115. Nets over the Bulls, 112-109. Clips over the Raptors, 121-117 in OT. Rockets over the T-Wolves, 110-105. Kings over the Wizards, 128-115. Saturday, Suns over the Knicks, 106-99. Mavs over the Jazz, 138-120. Celtics over the Hawks, 132-106. Pistons over the Pacers, 121-78. Heat over the Thunder, 122-120. Spurs over the T-Wolves, 126-123. Warriors over the Hornets, 136-116. Nuggets over the Wizards, 125-115. And the Blazers over the Lakers, 132-116. And then yesterday from London, Grizzlies over the Magic, 126-109. Bulls over the Nets, 124-102. Rockets over the Pelicans, 119-110. Hornets over the Nuggets, 110-87. Blazers over the Kings, 117-110. And the Lakers over the Raptors, 110-93. A lot of games today. 1 o'clock Peacock, Bucks Hawks. My line is the Hawks by 3. And it is 2.5, 231.5 over. 2:30 NBC and Peacock, Thunder Cavs. I have the Thunder by 3. It's 6 and 234.5. I'll take the Cleveland plus the 6. No Jalen Williams in this game. 3 o'clock Clippers Wizards. I have the Clippers 4.25. It's 7 and 224.5. I'll take the Wizards getting 7. 5 o'clock NBC and Peacock Mavericks Knicks. I have the Knicks by a whopping 16 and 16.125. But if Brunson's out, that probably goes to 11 something. And it's 10 and 229.5. Wow. So they must think that he's coming back. So I'm going to lay the 10 with New York. Good get-right spot for them. Jazz Spurs. I have the Spurs 17.5 and 16.5 and 242.5. I'll take the under. That's too high for a team like the Spurs. 7 o'clock Pacers Sixers. My line is the Sixers 13.125. It's 8 and 228.5. I'll lay the 8 with Philly. 7:30 Suns Nets. I have Phoenix 8.625 and it's 8 and 218.5. I like the over. That's low. 8 o'clock NBC and Peacock Celtics Pistons. That's a huge game. 1 and 2 in the East. Mine's Pistons 6.875 and it is 3 and 223.5. I'll lay the 3 with the Pistons. And then 10 o'clock the Heat and the Warriors. I have the Warriors 7.625 and it's 5.5 and 2.3.5. I'll lay the 5.5 with the Golden State Warriors. Okay, now move on to hockey. We'll go over the results from the weekend and we will look ahead to the games today. Friday, Red Wings over the Sharks 4-2. Canes over the Panthers 9-1. Blues over the Lightning 3-2 shootout. Preds over the Avs 7-3. Ducks over the Kings 3-2 shootout. Saturday, Wild over the Sabres 5-4 overtime. Rangers over the Flyers 6-3. Flames over the Isles 4-2. Mammoth over the Kraken 6-3. Habs over the Sens 6-5 OT. Canes over the Devils 4-1. Jackets over the Pens 4-3 shootout. Panthers over the Caps 5-2. Leafs over the Jets 4-3 OT. Bruins over the Blackhawks 5-2. Oilers over the Canucks 6-0. Golden Knights over the Preds 7-2. And the Ducks over the Kings 2-1 in OT. Sunday, Stars lose at home to the Lightning 4-1. Red Wings over the Stars 4-3 OT. Or the Sens. And the Oilers over the Blues 5-0. Busy day in hockey too. 1:30 TNT. Sabres, Hurricanes. Better game than it looked before the season started, right? Canes minus 196. Buffalo plus 162 over under 6.5. Overs minus 114. Unders minus 106. Sabres plus 1.5 is minus 148. Canes minus 1.5 plus 120. I like the over. 4 o'clock TNT. Capitals Avalanche. Avs minus 15. Caps plus 116 over under 6.5. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Caps plus 1.5 is minus 140. Avs minus 1.5 plus 114. I like the over in that one as well. 5 o'clock Pens Kraken. Pens minus 125. Kraken plus 104 over under 5.5. Overs minus 122. Unders even money. Pens minus 1.5 plus 198. Kraken plus 1.5 is minus 250. I like the under at even money. 6 o'clock Sharks Panthers. Panthers minus 188. Sharks plus 155 over under 6.5. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. Sharks plus 1.5 is minus 154. Panthers minus 1.5 plus 126. I like the under in that game. 7:30 Wild Maple Leafs. A lot of hockey today. Wow. Leafs minus 122. Wild plus 102 over under 5.5. Overs minus 142. Unders plus 116. Wild plus 1.5 is minus 50. Leafs minus 1.5 plus 198. That's a tough one. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Wild as the road dog plus 102. 8 o'clock Flyers Golden Knights. Golden Knights minus 210. Flyers plus 172 over under 6.5. Overs plus 106. Unders minus 130. Flyers plus 1.5 is minus 144. Golden Knights minus 1.5 plus 118. I don't love this Flyers team. They just lost at home against the struggling Rangers. Golden Knights in regulations, I think, too rich for my blood. I'm going to go alternate total goals under 5.5 plus 132. 8:30 Jets Blackhawks. Jets minus 137. Blackhawks plus 114 over under 5.5. Overs minus 140. Unders plus 114. Jets minus 1.5 plus 176. Blackhawks plus 1.5 is minus 220. under 5.5 plus 114. Although I do think that the Jets are the most overvalued team on the betting market right now. 9 o'clock, Devils Flames. Devils minus 125, Flames plus 104, over under 5.5, Oilers minus 134, and there's plus 110. Devils minus 1.5 plus 198, Flames plus 1.5 is minus 50, like the under plus money. 10 o'clock, Islanders Canucks. Isles minus 114, Canucks plus 118, over under 5.5, Oilers minus 140, unders minus or plus 114. Isles minus 1.5 plus 172, Canucks plus 1.5 minus 215. I'm gonna go with another under. And last but not least, Rangers Ducks. Ducks minus 138, Rangers plus 115, over under 6.5, overs minus 120, unders minus 102. Rangers plus 1.5 is minus 10. Ducks minus 1.5 plus 168. I have to go the over at minus 120. I'm sorry. The Rangers are auto over until Shesterkin comes back. Okay. Soccer. We'll go over everything from the weekend, and then we'll look ahead to today. We'll begin with Friday, which wasn't a lot. Girona over Espanyol 2-0. Frankfurt, Bremen 3-3 draw. That was La Liga and Bundesliga. Liga MX, Monterrey over Mazatlan 5-1. Serie A, Atalanta Pisa 1-1 draw. French League 1, Lorient over AS Monaco 3-1. PSG over Lille 3-0. ELC, Borough over West Brom 3-2. Pro League, Al Najma Al Fateh 1-1 draw. Al Khalij over Al Akdud 4-1. And Al Edifak over Al Idiad 1-0. Scottish Cup, Rangers over Anon Athletic 5-0. Saturday, EPL, Man United over Man City 2-0. Chelsea over Brentford 2-0. Leeds over Fulham 1-0. Liverpool, Burnley 1-1 draw. Sunderland over Crystal Palace 2-1. West Ham over Tottenham 2-1. Arsenal, Nottingham 0-0 draw. Real Madrid over Levante 2-0. Now I'm in the Liga. Mallorca over Athletic Club 3-2. Osasuna over Real Oviedo 3-2. Real Betis over Villarreal 2-0. Bundesliga, Dortmund over St. Pauli 3-2. Cologne over Mainz 2-1. Hamburg, Brescia 0-0 draw. Hoffenheim over Bayern Leverkusen 1-0. Wolfsburg, Heidenheim 1-1 draw. Bayern over RB Leipzig 5-1. Liga MX, Atlas over Necaxa 1-0. Guadalajara for Querétaro 2-1. Tigres, Luca 0-0 draw. Cruz Azul over Puebla 1-0. Tijuana, Athletic San Luis 1-1 draw. Cup of Nations, Egypt, Nigeria 0-0 draw. Nigeria wins 4-2 on penalties. Syria, Inter over Udinese 1-0. Napoli over Sassuolo 1-0. Cagliari over Juventus 1-0. French League 1, Lens over Ajax 1-0. Toulouse over Nice 5-1. Marseille over Angers 5-2. Dutch Eredivisie, Ajax go at Eagles 2-2 draw. PSV Zwolle over Zeilbgar 3-1. Excelsior Telstar 2-2 draw. PSV Eindhoven over Fortuna Sittard 2-1. NAC Engagement over NAC Breda 4-3. Pro League, Al-Faya Al-Tamak 1-1 draw. Al-Ali over Al-Khalud 1-0. Al-Nasser over Al-Shabaab 3-2. Friendly Canada over Guatemala 1-0. Women's Cup, Chelsea over Crystal Palace 5-0. London City over Sunderland 5-1. There's a lot of stuff we don't have time for Saturdays. And then Sunday, EPL, Wolverhampton, Newcastle 0-0 draw. Everton over Aston Villa 1-0. La Liga, Valencia over Getafe 1-0. Atletico Madrid over Alaves 1-0. Celta Vigo over Real Vallecano 3-0. Sociedad over Barcelona 2-1. Bundesliga, Stuttgart, Union Berlin 1-1 draw. Augsburg, SC Freiburg 2-2 draw. Liga MX, Leon, Newnham 1-1 draw. Santos, Juarez 2-2 draw. Pachuca, America 0-0 draw. All the Bundesliga and Liga MX draws. Imagine if you round robin all of them. Cup of Nations, Senegal over Morocco 1-0 additional extra time. Serie A, Parma, Genoa 0-0 draw. Fiorentina over Bologna 2-1. AS Roma over Torino 2-0. AC Milan over Lecce 1-0. Ligue 1 Strasbourg over Metz 2-1. Paris FC over Nantes 2-1. Rennes Le Havre AC 1-1 draw. Lyon over Brest 2-1. Dutch Eredivisie FC Groningen over Heerenveen 2-0. FC Volendam over FC Utrecht 2-1. FC 20 over Heracles 2-0. And Sparta over Feyenoord 4-3. Pro League, Al Qadish over Al Hossein 5-1. Al Twoon over Al Raida 3-1. Al Hilal over Niamey FC 2-1. Friendlies, Panama, Bolivia 1-1 draw. Jamaica over Grenada 1-0. Scottish Cup, Aberdeen over Wraith Rovers 1-0. And Celtic over Auckland Talbot 2-0. All right, not a lot today, which is surprising. 3 o'clock, USA, EPL, Brighton and Hove AFC, Bournemouth. And I just realized I have to start Australian Open coverage on the show today. So Brighton Hove AFC Bournemouth. Brighton -120, Bournemouth +280, draw 3-1. I'm gonna go over 3.5 goals +124. La Liga, Elche Sevilla. Elche +125, Sevilla +230, draw +230. I'm going with Elche +125. Serie A, 12:30, Cremonese Verona. Cremonese +155, Verona +210, draw +190. I'm going with Cremonese +155. 2:45, Lazio Como. Lazio +190, Como +180, draw +185. I'm going with the draw +185. And that's it for soccer. And now we will preview and predict the college football playoff national championship. Number 1, Indiana. Number 10, Miami. In Miami's home building. I forgot. I have to make a slight adjustment to my line because Miami has home field advantage. I have Indiana by 3 total, 49 and 13/20. I originally had 6 down, but I forgot Miami was hosting the game, essentially, so I had to adjust the line. It's 7.5 and 47.5, so I'm glad I made that adjustment. I'm going to take Miami getting 7.5. They're home. I don't think they're the better team, but they do have a lot of players. And they have national championship offensive MVP odds, which is crazy. But if you think Miami's going to win the game, I would bet Carson Beck to win the offensive MVP at 6-1, or even Malachi Toney at 18-1. But I do think Miami covers 7.5. I would parlay that with the over 47.5. But my favorite play, I love Miami getting 7.5. I think it's a close game. I think Indiana wins, but Miami covers 7.5, and it should be an awesome game. I do think Mendoza will win the offensive MVP. And the defensive MVP, D'Angelo Pons is the rightful favorite, but I think Isaiah Jones has value at 9-1. And I think even some guys on Miami have value, like Jacoby Thomas or Keontae Scott or Akeem Mesidor or somebody like that. So there's a lot of guys of value, and I do think that Indiana wins a very close game, but Miami obviously will cover. Okay, now we'll move on to golf. We will go over the results from the Sony Open. Your winner with the score of 16 under, Chris Goddard, second, 14 under. Ryan Gerard, third, 13 under. Patrick Rogers, tied for fourth, 12 under. Robert McIntyre, Jacob Bridgman, tied for sixth with 11 under. Taylor Penters, Harry Hall, Lucas Hodges, Daniel Berger, Davis Riley, tied for 11 to 10 under. Siwoo Kim and Jake Knapp, tied for 13th with 9 under. Nate Taylor, Pierce Cutie, Kevin Roy, Hideki Matsuyama, S.H. Kim, and Sudarshan Yelarmaju, tied for 19th with 8 under. Ben Griffin, Ryan Henley, Chandler Phillips, John Parry, and Daniel Brown. Tied for 24th with 7 under. Corey Connors, Patton Kazir, Bayo Colley, Jordan Spieth, Matt McNeely, Adrian DeMont DeChazert, and Kensei Hirata. Tied for 31st with 6 under. Bryce Garnett, Michael Kim, Scott Stevens, Siemens Power, Sig Thiglia, Dylan Wu, Ricky Castillo, Takumi Kanaya, Dylan Wu, Alex Smalley, Denny McCarthy. Actually, no. Smalley and McCarthy are the next group. Red Yonezawa. Tied for 40th with 500. I'm going to do notables now, but only because of time. Alex Smalley, Denny McCarthy, JJ Spawn, Kurt Katayama, Adam Scott, Taylor Hogue, Adam Thompson, Vincent Willie, Mac Meisner, Vijay Singh. Tied for 50th with 4 under. Zach Blair, Rico Hoey, Aaron Ray. Tied for 55th with 3 under. Matthew Pavon, H.T. Lee, Z.C. Zhu, Doug Gim, Webb Simpson, Matt McCarthy. Tied for 61st with 2 under. Tom Ken, Nick Dunlap, Zach Johnson, Brian Harmon. Tied for 66th with 1 under. Keith Mitchell, Mark Hubbard, Jacob Highsmith. 70th and even, Zach Pichot. 74th with 4 over, Brett Herschel. Among those cut, Austin Eckler, Colin Morikawa, Stuart Fisk, Rio Hisatune, Eric Cole, Bale Hostler, Keegan Bradley, Austin Smotherman, Matthias Schmidt, Evan Van Rooyen, Chris Kirk, Danny Walker, Hank Lebioda, Gary Woodland, that was my pick, Emiliano Grillo, AJ Ewart, Tony Finau, Adam Schenk, and withdrawing was Yuta Segura. So there you have it for the Sony Open. Now move on to tennis, the Australian Open. That began over the weekend. We'll look at the results. We'll start with the men's singles. First round Saturday. Michael Zhang over Sebastian Korda in 5 sets. Emilio Nava over Kyron Jaquette in 5 sets. 18-seed Francisco Cerundolo over ZZ Zhang in 3 sets. Damir DeZumer over Liam Drexel in 3 sets. Francisco Comensana over Patrick Highsmith in 4 sets. 3-seed Alexander Zverev over Gabriel Diallo in 4 sets. 32-seed Quinton Motet over Tristan Skulkate in 3 sets. Thomas Echeverry over Miomir Kekmanovic in 5 sets. 20-seed Flavio Cabali over Arthur Ferry in 3 sets. And Arthur Cazot and Jamie Ferreira canceled. Sunday, Botic Van de Zandschulp upsets 2017 Brandon Nakashima in 4 sets. Marin Cilic over Daniel Altmaier in 3 sets. Kamil Majarczyk over Jacob Fernley in 4 sets. Sten Wawrinka over Laszlo Djere in 4 sets. Thiago Tarante over Alexander Vukic in 3 sets. 14-seed Alejandro Davidovich over Filip Mizulik in 3 sets. 25-seed Lerner Tyan over Marcos Giron in 5 sets. 6-seed Alex de Minaur over Mackenzie McDonald in 3 sets. Jordan Thompson over Juan Manuel Cerundolo in 4 sets. 13-seed Andre Rublev over Matteo Arnaldi in 3 sets. Riley Opelka over Nikolai Budkov-Kajer in 3 sets. J.C. Chang over Roberto Bautista Agut in 4 sets. 19-seed Tommy Paul over Alexander Kovacic in 3 sets. Fabian Marozsan over Arthur Rinderknecht, your 24-seed, in 4 sets. 11-seed Daniil Medvedev over Jesper de Jong in 3 sets. Alexander Shevchenko over Elias Ymer in 4 sets. Hamad Medjevic over Mariano Navane in 4 sets. Nuno Borges over 17 Felix Auger-Salame in 4 sets and a walkover. Wonder what happened to Auger Asalame there. He retired. He goes, I don't want to be just standing there like a punching bag. Wow. That's a little nuts.
Quentin Haley's over Alejandro Tabilo in 3 sets. 1 seed Carlos Alcaraz over Adam Walton in 3. 10 seed Alexander Bublik over Jensen Brooksby in 3. 26 seed Cam Norrie over Ben Bonzi in 5. Yannick Hanfman over Zachary Svajita in 4. 29 seed Francis Tiafoe over Jason Kubler in 3. Martin Fucsovics over Camilo Carabelli in 3. Jamie Faria over Alexander Black in 4. And then from these were going on in the middle of the night. 4 seed Novak Djokovic over Pedro Martinez in 3. 12 seed Casper Ruud over Mattia Bellucci in 3. Alexandre Mueller over Alexei Popyrin in 5. 30 seed Valentin Vacherot over Martin Dam Jr. in 3. Arthur G over 17 seed Jerry Lecheka in 3. Rinky Hijikata over Adrian Manarino in 3. 21 seed Denis Shapovalov over Nunchikati Boo in 3. John May Munar over Dalibor Sversina in 5. Francesco Mastarelli over Terence Atmane in 5. All right, 7 o'clock, you have Christian Jorin and 22 seed Luciano Darderi, Lorenzo Sonogo and Carlos Tanaber. 7:30, 5 seed Lorenzo Musetti and Rafael Calignan. 8 o'clock, Ethan Quinn and 23 seed Talon Griekspoor, Chris O'Connell and Nishesh Basaverdi. 15 seed Karen Kaknavov and Alex Mickelson. 8:30, 16 seed Jacob Mensick and Pablo Carrena Busta. 28 seed Joao Fonseca and Elliot Spizzeri. Giovanni Fessi Pritchard and Sebastian Baez. 9 o'clock, Luca Nardi and Wu Yabong. Dane Sweeney and Gail Monfils. 9:30, 8 seed Ben Shelton and Ugo Humbert. Hubert Hurkacz and Zazu Bergs. 10 o'clock, James Duckworth and Dino Przmyk. Ray Sakamoto and Rafael Jodar. 10:50, Grigor Dimitrov and Thomas Machik. And Vit Capriva and Jan Leonard Struff. All right, and then more first round. 1 in the morning, you have Valentin Royer and 19 Taylor Fritz. Hugo Gaston and Jannik Sinner at 3 a.m. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, Shintaro Mizuki and Stefano Tsitsipas, your 31 seed. And then some second round matchups we know. 12 seed Casper Ruud and Jaume Munar. 9 seed Tommy Fall and Thiago Trinit. 11 seed Daniil Medvedev and Quentin Haley. 3 seed Alexander Zverev and Alexandre Mueller. 25 seed Lerner Tien and Alexander Shevchenko. Jamie Faria and 13 seed Andrei Rublev. Riley Opelka and 14 seed Alejandro David Fekina. Arthur Gee and Stan Wawrinka. 29 seed Francis Tiafoe and Francisco Clementsana. 1 seed Carlos Alcaraz and Yannick Hanfman. Rinky Hijikata and Valentin Vacherot, your 30 seed. 10 seed Alexander Bublik and Martin Fucsovics. 18 seed Francisco Cerundolo and Damir Dzumhur. Michael Zhang and 32 seed Kernton Motet. 21 seed Denis Shapovalov and Marin Cilic. Kamil Mazurak and Fabian Marosan. Emilio Nava and 26 seed Cam Norrie. Francesco Mastarelli and Novak Djokovic, your 4 seed. Thomas Martin Echeverry and Arthur Frary. J.C. Chang and Bojack van de Zandschulp. Jordan Thompson and Nuno Borges. And Hamad Medjevic and 6 seed Alex Demeter. All right, to the women's side, they began Saturday as well. So, yep, Sama's upsets 11 seed Ekaterina Alexandrova in 3 sets. Haley Baptist over Taylor Towson in 3 sets. 12 seed Alina Svitolina over Kristina Buska in 2 sets. Elsa Jacquemot upsets 20 seed Marta Kostyuk in 3 sets. Katie McNeely over Himino Sakatsume in 2 sets. Maria Sakkari over Leola Janchin in 2 sets. 17 Jasmine Paolini over Alexandra Sasnovic in 2 sets. Talia Gibson over Anna Blinkova in 2 sets. Elena Gabriela Russe over 26 seed Diana Yastremka in 2 sets. Yulia Putintseva over Beatrice Haddad-Maia in 3 sets. And then yesterday, first round, Oksana Silakmeva over Ella Seidel in 3 sets. 14 Amanda Anisimova over Simona Walter in 2 sets. Alicia Parks over Alexandra Ayala in 3 sets. 19 Carolina Muchova over Jacqueline Christian in 2 sets. 14 Clara Towson over Dalma Golfi in 2 sets. 16 Jessica Pagula over Anastasia Zakharova in 2 sets. Linda Klimavasova over Francesca Jones in 2 sets and a walkover. Priscilla Hahn over Marina Stakuzik in 3 sets and a walkover. 3-seed Coco Gauff over Kamila Rakimova in 2 sets. An Lee over Camila Osorio in 3 sets. Peyton Stearns over 2017 Sophia Kenin in 2 sets. Magdalena French over Veronica Edrikvev in 2 sets. Storm Hunter over Jessica Buzas Manarino in 2 sets. Magdalena upsets 15-teen Emma Navarro in 3 sets. McCartney Kessler over Emiliano Aragno in 2 sets. Anna Bodner over Elizabeth Mandlik in 2 sets. Petra Marchenko over Tajana Maria in 2 sets. 2018 Emma Raducanu over Menachaya Savagnev in 2 sets. Olga Danovich over Venus Williams in 3 sets. Zagun Bay over Anastasia Pavlyuchova in 3 sets. Anastasia Potapova over Suzanne Lemons in 3 sets. 1-seed Arena Sablenka over Tansota Rakotomanga Rajona in 2 sets. Polina Kudermetova over Guaymar Maristani in 2 sets. And then today, 21-seed Elise Mertens over Lalana Taranude in 2 sets. Mayuka Uchijima over Solana Sierra in 2 sets. 2-seed Iga Swiatek over Yue Wan in 2 sets. 8-seed Mira Andreeva over Donna Vecek in 3 sets. 23-seed Diana Schneider over Barbara Krajcikova in 3 sets. Marie Bosoka over Renata Zerzuka in 2 sets. 25-seed Paula Badosa over Zarina Diaz in 2 sets. Alta Tomljic over Yulia Srdovseva in 3 sets. 17-seed Victoria Mboko over Emerson Jones in 2 sets. 13-seed Linda Niskova over Darja Semensija in 2 sets. 2019 Eva Jovic over Katie Volanets in 2 sets. 7 o'clock, Leyla Fernandez and Janice Tijen for Vera Gracheva and Victoria Golubic. Shui Zhang and Talia Preston. Pana Udvari and Katerina Siniakova. Teresa Valentova and 30-seed Maya Joint. Ashlyn Kruger and Sarah Bejlik. 7:30 Alexandra Alenkova and 19 Madison Keys. 8 o'clock Julia Grabber and Elizabeth Cacciaretto. Carolina Pliskova and Solane Stevens. Ziyu Wong and Alina Kalinina. 8:30, Lulu Sin and Linda Furtova. 9 o'clock, 5 seed Elena Rybakina and Kaja Jovan. 9:40, 31 seed Anna Kalinsinka and Sine Cardle. 10 o'clock, Rebecca Smrokova and 24 seed Jelena Ostapenko. 10:50, Serena Sarista and Eva Liss. 11 o'clock, Laura Siegman and 18 seed Ludmila Samsonova. And Daria Kostakina and Nikola Barkantova. All right, in the middle of the night, 2:30 a.m., Madison Ingles and Kimberly Burrell. 3 o'clock, Katie Bolter and 10 seed Belinda Benchik. 4:30, 16 seed Naomi Ahsoka and Antonia Ruzic. Second round matchups we know, Maria Sakkari and 8 seed Mira Andreeva. Storm Hunter and Haley Baptist. 12 seed Alina Svitolina and Linda Klimakova. Zinep Somez and Anna Bodner. Yulia Putintseva and Elsa Jackmott. Magdalena French and 7 seed Jasmine Paolini. 1 seed Irina Sablenka and Zugan Bay. Anli and Magda Linette. Marie Buskova and 2 seed Iga Swiatek. 21 seed Elise Mertens and Mayuka Ujima. 6 seed Jessica Pegula and McCartney Kessler. Oksana Slikmateva and Paula Badosa, your 25 seed. Elena Gabriela Rus and Alja Tomčević. 3 seed Coco Gauff and Olga Dagnovich. Victoria Mboko and your 17 seed in Caddy McNally. Talia Gibson and 23 seed Diana Shadner. Anastasia Potapova and 28 seed Emma Raducanu. 19 seed Carolina Muchova and Alicia Parks. Peyton Stearns and Petra Marquincho. Polina Kudermetova and 14 seed Clara Towson. And 29 seed Eva Jovic and Priscilla Hone. So there you have it for the women's side of the Australian Open. Now we'll move on to On This Day. So we're going to do Saturday, Sunday, today. All right, Saturday. That was January 16th. Or no, that's Friday. My bad. Saturday the 17th. 2021, Lions hire Dan Campbell, slam dunk hire. 2013, Cardinals hire Bruce Arians. 2024, Pacers acquire Pascal Siakam. 2025, Dodgers sign Roki Sasaki. 2021, Chargers hire Brandon Staley. Blah. 2021, the Bucks defeat the Saints in the divisional round. That came down to like a fourth down play or something. 2013, the Jaguars hire Gus Bradley. 2014, Vanderbilt hires Derek Mason. 2017, Islanders fire Jack Capuano. 2014, Kevin Durant scores 54 points for the Thunder. 2016, Broncos defeat Steelers in the divisional round. That was Peyton Manning over Big Ben. And in 2022, Timo Myers scores 5 goals. Wasn't that against the Rangers? And then yesterday, January 18th, we don't have today's. 2015, the Nationals signed Max Scherzer. That turned out to be a great free agent signing for them at the time. 2015, the Seahawks advanced to the Super Bowl. Trying to figure out the numbers here. Super Bowl 49. And the Patriots advanced to Super Bowl 49. And maybe a week from today, we'll be saying that those two same teams advanced to Super Bowl 60. 2015, the Broncos hired Gary Kubiak. 2025, Commanders defeat Lions in the divisional round. That was that big upset last year. 2021, Tennessee fires Jeremy Pruitt. 2016, the Tigers signed Justin Upton. That was not a good free agent signing. 2013, the Suns and Alvin Gentry part ways. 2021, the Padres acquired just Joe Musgrove. 2017, Ivan Rodriguez elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. 2015, Falcons hired Kyle Shanahan as OC. In 2021, the 49ers hired D'Amico Ryans as DC. So we don't have today, so we'll do today's on tomorrow's show. Okay, news and notes. I'm going to rapid fire this segment. The big news of the day is that the Buffalo Bills have fired Sean McDermott. There's a lot of speculation out there that John Harbaugh was going to wait for Buffalo or Green Bay to potentially be open, but no, he wanted to go to the Giants. And now we have an attractive job. And best job on the market with Josh Allen there, and we'll see who they hire. It's funny, Bleacher Report says stunner. It's not a stunner. I think there was speculation about this. And then Terry Pagula came out with a statement. The Mets are still eyeing Cody Bellinger. They would like to add him on a short-term agreement. And Bob Klapisch reports that the Yankees are prepared to let Cody Bellinger walk if other teams swoop in with a blowaway offer. Bob Klapisch is not good at what he does. I'm sorry. Anybody associated with Newark Star Ledger or NJ.com with the Yankees is not top notch. Jack Curry from the Yes Network is top notch. Jeff Passan is top notch. John Heyman, in spite of Arson Judge, is top notch. Like, not these local beat writers that are literally Yanks for clicks. So I'm not buying that one. But if they're right, they're right. And the Yankees are in trouble. Lane Kiffin says LSU is just different as he explains how the Tigers locked down the #1 recruiting class in the offseason. DJ Lagway to Baylor is official. Ex-Colorado quarterback Ryan Staub is transferring to Tennessee after visits with Ohio State and Kentucky and others. A big hockey trade. Rasmus Anderson gets traded from the Flames to the Golden Knights. Golden Knights sending Zach Whitecloud and 2 draft picks and rights to Abram Wybe to the Flames. I think that is a great trade for Vegas. They had some depth on defense. And the Flames get a good return from a Stanley Cup contender. College football playoff expansion update is firm decision unlikely to come soon as conferences haven't agreed on new bracket format. Ha-Sung came out 4 to 5 months to as he got surgery to repair a torn tendon in right finger. That's not good for the Braves. And then the Braves bring in Jorge Mateo on a 1-year deal after the Ha-Sung Kim injury. Matt Tkachuk is finally back tonight for the Panthers against the Sharks. John Harbaugh will not report to the GM as Giants executives secretly met with Harbaugh to ease concerns about chain of command. Wow. I think Joe Shane's going to lose his job because of this. And I know he drafted the quarterback, Jackson Dart, and Cam Scatterbo and Malik Neighbors. But he has a lot of misses. Evan Neal's a big miss. Deontay Banks, kind of a miss. I don't know why people think he's good, but I watched him play. He's not good. So he's had some misses. And there's no middle ground with Joe Shane. So I think he's going to get let go. And they're going to have like an in-house GM, but John Harbaugh is going to be the de facto GM. Just like how Belichick had the power at the Wingland, and I think Sean Payton has that kind of power in Denver. Mike Vrabel has that kind of power right now in New England. So I do think that that's where this is going with the Giants and John Harbaugh. JJ Watt says coaching carousel is insane. The Browns get a second interview with Jaguars' 30-year-old offensive coordinator Grant Udzinski, which is crazy. Sam Darnold jokes about his injury as he thought the questions were funny. J.K. Dobbins could return against the Patriots as they opened the practice window for him, who suffered a foot injury in Week 10. That's crazy. Zach Charbonnet's out for the playoffs for a significant knee injury. That's a big loss for Seattle. Big loss. Dalton Schultz obviously did not return against the Pats. We brought that up already. We brought this up earlier. Bo Nix has a fracture in his ankle, and he's done for the year. And now they'll be going to Jarrett Stidham. Tyler Harrow has a rib injury. No timetable for his return. Jalen Williams out a few weeks with the hamstring injury. That's big for the Thunder. Steven Adams was helped off against the Pelicans as he has an ankle injury. Darius Garland out 7 to 10 days with the grade 1 toe sprain. Kawhi Leonard was sent home for injury as he was to be evaluated for knee injury, but it's not considered serious. I think it's serious. It's Kawhi Leonard. Wow, so the Chiefs to hire Eric Bieniemy as offensive coordinator as they plan to reunite former coordinator with Mahomes and Andy Reid. So what happened with Matt Nagy? Is he going somewhere else? And then the Lions hired their new offensive coordinators. They bring in former offensive coordinator of the Cardinals, Drew Petzing. I think there are better options. Brian Daboll linked to the Bills job as his name keeps coming up among executives. That would not surprise me if he ends up the next Bills coach. And Bieniemy is going back to KC because Matt Nagy is likely getting a head coaching job. And then 2 more linked to the Bills head coaching job is current offensive coordinator Joe Brady and Broncos pass game coordinator Davis Webb. I'm surprised Joe Brady's not connected to the Bengals job. Brandon Beane is being retained by the Bills as he'll help lead the coaching search after Sean McDermott's firing. And the Dolphins are interviewing Joe Brady, which is interesting. The Titans move up their Robert Saleh interview to today. The Broncos are signing Ben DiNucci after Bo Nix's injury. Richard Sherman made a post about one quarterback that Sean Payton could call. Richard Sherman says, if he says Kaepernick, I'm going to throw up. Who can Sean Payton call to play quarterback with 1 week to go? One call he could try to make is break the internet is Brady. Doubt he'd do it, but boy, that would make great for TV. That would be awesome. Okay. I would love that. Although Phillip Rivers would have been fun, as he played well for the Colts. I mean, Colin Kaepernick, absolutely not. He's not a good quarterback. He was a product of Jim Harbaugh. Taking that to the Wolves, and I'm taking that to the grave that Colin Kaepernick was a system quarterback. And once they got rid of Jim Harbaugh and hired Jim Tomazula, he was awful. And we know what happened. And then I don't even know if he was still there when Chip Kelly was there, but maybe he was. But antics aside, he was not a good quarterback. He's just a big name that played well for a year, 2 years, and made a Super Bowl. LeBron's All-Star streak, as his 21-year run as an All-Star game starter comes to an end. That shouldn't surprise anybody. Bronny got 2 All-Star votes as 2 players voted for him to be his starter. What a joke, Bronny. Trading Jaws an unpopular choice as insiders suspect that Grizzlies would take the PR hit by moving Morant. And Memphis is eyeing a complete teardown as they could use JJ, Triple J, and Jaws to accelerate a rebuild. That's what I thought the second they traded Desmond Bane. And then John Moran after the London win. Should I tell you exactly where I want to be? If anybody here knows me, I'm a very loyal guy. The Mavs-Dirk relationship is better as they're making concerted efforts to repair bond with Dirk after the Luka trade. And the Heat may stop their job pursuit as that could be scratched as sooner if it jeopardizes their chances of getting Giannis. Cooper flags back tonight against the Knicks after missing game with an ankle sprain. And then, anything else? Rams Bears had a 0-degree wind chills. That's interesting. CJ Stroud had 4 picks. Obviously, D'Amico Ryan says he's still our guy. He's trying to back him up. That was a weird weather game. Drake May was not good either. The Texans had a brutal trip home, though. They had over a 7-hour delay due to weather following the playoff loss. Jordan Phillips rips the Sean McDermott firing as he vents about sickening Sean McDermott dismissal. Well, maybe if you played better, Jordan Phillips, your coach would still have a job. Your defense stunk. And your quarterback, who's supposedly the best player in the league, turned the ball over 5 times. Or your offense did. So, there you have it for news and notes. Last but not least, my best bet for the day, brought to you by FanDuel. Okay. I'm obviously going to bet Miami tonight. But, my best bet, I know, sometimes people say, well, Madison, you're getting cute with, the college basketball stuff, but I've been on fire. And that's reality. I'm taking Lamar plus 3.5 against New Orleans. I'm not going to go crazy on this pick. But I do think that Lamar will win and cover, obviously, the 3.5 as a road underdog in Southland play. So, there you have it. For the show. And I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything and looking ahead to everything tomorrow as well. Hope you guys have a great day, everybody.